Hi and welcome. This is Gmax 1.2 for the beginning modeler, video number 2. And it's time to build wings. And this is part 1. The objective in this session is to construct the wing from the 3-view drawing, as you can see on the screen. Hi, my name is Milton Shupe, and we're going to build this wing from the fuselage out and then out to the wingtip root, and we'll add the rounded wingtip here. And then once we build that, we will move to the front viewport, and then we'll set the wing vertically as it needs to be. And that should pretty much take up this session. We'll come back in a follow-up session to cut in the flaps, ailerons, the trim tabs. And there's another split flap underneath this part of the wing that we'll add in. And then that'll take a little while to fill in the gaps after boolean cutting this out. And then we'll have a wing. And with that, let's notice here on the left side, there's a Q reference and a P reference. Now let's go down and take a look at the Q, which shows a closed-in wing foil at the I didn't mean to do that. Thought I had this selected at this Q point. And then at the P point, it shows the air intake cut out. Well, not to be argumentative, but if we go take a look at the pictures of the real-world aircraft, you'll see that this air intake goes all the way to the fuselage. It doesn't butt up against, a fillet or fairing that goes up to the wing. I have another picture of that here. Much better picture. If we zoom in here, you can see that fillet, that air intake goes all the way up to the fuselage. So what I'm going to do here is construct this because it's the correct size at the fuselage root. And then once I construct it, I'm going to move it up here and then alter the nose of this, the leading edge, to meet this air intake flow. Now, I already took my time and created this, but I'm going to show you how I did it. What I did here was I need to freeze this. Freeze, there it is. It's funny when you're in a hurry. I already constructed the wing root and took my time doing it, just so that you can see, using the standard primitive cylinder, how this is done. I basically created a cylinder and then sized it down to meet the outline of this laminar flow. And by the way, if your 3 views do not contain this, then you need to find one on the internet, and you just need to figure out what NACA number the wing is using. And then you could go to this site. I think you can see what you need is airfoiltools.com/airfoil. And if you go to that site, you can search for your NACA type airfoil, and it will bring up the drawing for you. And then all you have to do is print screen that and paste it to your paint program of whatever you use. And then you can bring it into Gmax and shape it precisely to that, in this case, laminar airfoil. So just and you can also just Google or Bing these, and you'll find them. Not a problem. They're out there. So that may be of help to you. Okay, now that we have that understood, I'm going to preserve this since I spent a lot of time getting it precise. I'm going to move it up here because we're going to change it. Now, this part of the wing is lengthwise, or widthwise, I guess, is a little smaller because it's pushed out from the fuselage, but I'm just going to use it to change the nose of that. So we're going to set that over here for a minute, and then we're going to recreate that so I can show you how I did it. The reason I used a cylinder versus a shape, a line, to do this is because I want control of how many cross sections I have. And when you use the other approach, though it's great for complex shapes, I don't exactly call this a complex shape. Cylinder works perfectly for it, and you can do it very quickly. I want more control over, without having to do a lot of extra work, all the cross sections and so forth. And to me, it's more work than is necessary for this kind of structure. So let's do it with the cylinder. Let's just create a cylinder of most any size here. What is this got? 18 sides. We'll put a little depth in it by pushing the mouse, and then we're going to see if there's anything else we need to do here. 18 sides is about right for this, so we'll hang on to that. No cap segments. We'll go ahead and convert that to poly so we can see some vertices, and we're going to make it see-through so we can see the drawing behind it. Okay, and then let's just move this over to roughly here. Move it down so that the center is on this line. Then let's go into vertex subobject mode. Grab our handy dandy non-uniform scale, and let's just select all of these vertices. Make sure ignore back facing is off because we want all of the vertices. And then we're just going to pull this down to make it about the size we want it. And then we're going to stretch it out to make it about the size we want it. Alright, so we got that part. Let's move it back a little. Go back here. Let's region zoom here to get it up close and personal. And then we just take a few minutes to make some adjustments here. You can see very quickly you get in the ballpark with just using the cylinder and the vertice subobject mode. You just need to go up a little. I'm not going to try to be too precise here because we've got more things to talk about, so I'm just going to go out to about there. Okay, let's pull all these down a little. Let's just pull these down and these down a little more. Yeah, I think that's going to work. So let's pull these back to about there and then down on the line. Now look at there. I don't know what that took, maybe 2 minutes, but oops. That's what happens when you think you're fixing to select, but you grab a gizmo instead. One thing I usually do is I go with like an 18 on something like this. So you don't need that many to get an appearance of a round surface here. Let's pull this back and kind of split the distance. Good grief. Let's kind of split the distance here. Just a little balance, give us a little nicer curvature. Then what I usually do, just go with an 18 on something like this. Pull this back a little, and it's just showing you how you tweak this up. But on the front, you want this a little smoother than that, so I usually grab these two edges and do a chamfer, and that smooths out this a bit. Alright, turn that off, go back to the side view. Now we can kind of tweak that up. We're going to pull this back so they're not actually pointed. Okay, and we'll push this forward a little. And let's see, we can bring these forward, kind of balance the distance here. And what you got, and it may look a little jagged. Believe me, and when you finish touching it up, it's really nice looking when you go look at the mesh itself. As you can see, it looks nice and smooth. So that's the way I go about starting the wing. It's very quick, very easy. Cylinder is a great way to start it. So let's, now that we've got that done, and I've shown you how to do it, I'm going to delete that and go back to the original, which is about the same thing you just saw. Can't be much different, right? Same guy did it. So what we want to do now is try to adjust this nose to, and it's a little hard to do because you don't know exactly where this should be. See where my vertices are. Alright, let's back it up a little. Let's try it right there. Alright, so what we're going to do is back these up a little and move this up. Actually, we're going to move all these up just a smidgen. Alright. Back it up to about there. If I can get that bad boy to move. Bring these in. And they got to be alright. And I'm going to do that. And now what I'm going to do is select these two polys and use our handy dandy extrude tool to pull that back. Let's go back to the left, see how far we need to go back. Well, I'm going back there further than I need to be. Now we can come in later and round these up a little bit more if necessary. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, we probably need to do that, so we'll grab this one and this one. Round them a little. Soften up those corners. And we should probably round these two a little bit. Take the edge off of it, if you will. Alright. Now that's going to smooth up, and it will in fact look great when it's done. Now, I'm not sure why they show that the depths of these polys here like that, because they actually go way back. In fact, what that is air intake for the intercooler and for the oil cooler and for the engine radiator cooler. So all that's built into the wing back here. So this all really goes all the way back into here. But we'll just take it back so far. And when you texture this, it'll be dark, and you can probably paint in some duct work or something. But that'll work just fine, just the way it is. So with that done, let's go to the top view. Now we got to move this in place. We need to change the lighting here to give us some sight advantage. Alright, now we'll move this in place. Oops. Careful what you're doing, Shupe. We'll move this into place. And why do we have this issue? Hang on a second. Okay, I see what the problem is. It wasn't a problem at all. Because I drew this supposedly to the Q, it actually matches up with the P just fine. So what we'll do is just position it position it so I'm on the top view, right? And then expand the edge to the root, and then bring this on down as we should. So, but I want to work on the other side. So let me do this. Centered object, line the world. Okay, we're sitting at 206. If I change that to minus 206, it moves it to the other side precisely where it needs to be. And then I can grab these vertices here and ignore back facing is off. So I can move these right up to this line. And what we'll do is use our handy dandy non-uniform scale to push this out, to hook it up with the front of this flow. We're a little bit large, so we'll split the difference and shrink it up a little bit. We'll do it this way. Am I on that thing? I'm on the X, I'm on the Y. Duh. Try that again. Alright, now I'm on the Y. That'll be alert. Stay alert and don't get hurt. Okay. Now we need to pull this down to, well, first we need to pull it over to, let's see, that line here is right at the change in direction, so we're going right here, and we're going to pull this down to the correct size. Takes a little back and forth action here to get it right. What I'm trying to do is get this trailing edge perfect. Okay, need to split the difference here. Go up, right click, hit the Y. And we're just about there. We need to move it up a smidgen. Alright, that's good. We got it, son. Okay, now we're ready for the next step. We've got the first section done. So let's go out here, and we're going to grab this poly here, up here, and we're going to, guess what? Extrude. Okay, if we can grab hold of that bad boy, that's what we're going to do. Can we, or can we not? There we go. And we're just going to extrude out about halfway, and the reason I'm stopping at about halfway is that if you have very long polys with no breaks, with no cross sections, you'll end up with some shading issues where you can actually see where these lines join. The smoothing won't be as effective. So I usually give it at least one or two breaks here. So now we're running out to the wingtip or root. Right there. Now we're ready to shape. Actually, you're really better off just shaping this first and then extruding it the next bit of the way. So let's do that. Let's what is that? Let's move this up and kind of split the distance. Give us a little, maybe bang around a little less. It's pretty close. Pretty close, huh? Alright. I'm going to go do the next extrude. Out to the wingtip. Now, I went off the screen with that, so I'll just pull it out with the select and move tool. Alright, now let's give ourselves some room here. Now let's move this up, split the kind of the bottom and top distances there. So when we pull it down, they both come together pretty about the same time. Okay, a little adjustment. And it looks pretty good. So we'll go with that. Alright. So we've got the bulk of the wing done. I mean, that's pretty cool. So now what do we do out here on the end? Yeah, same thing. What we do is a bunch of short extrudes, and we'll just close the gap on, close that up on the end, and shoot, I missed it. There we go. Extrude polygon. Is it selected? Let's see, how's my time doing? 21 minutes here. 21 minutes and 265 meg. Okay. We're going to come out to the first big curve up to the top. And we got a lot of curve action going on there, so we can't go too far without looking a little bad there. So we just do a few of these, and we may do one more, but we'll see. Okay, and then we just we'll start adjusting these down with, guess what, the non-uniform scale tool. So you can, I'm watching as I'm trying to fit the edge here. So we'll deselect and deselect and deselect and deselect. Pretty cool, huh? Very good. That's it for now. We'll probably come back in, depending on how small that is, and maybe have to run one more, but I think it may be alright. Now that we have the top wing shape done, we need to go to the front and adjust these joints vertically. It's the other part about putting one of these in. Sometimes you're better off not doing that than coming back and slicing. But I think we can make out fine with it. Now I've done it both ways and been successful with it both ways. So let's go to the front viewport. And I'm going to have to move this down. Okay. Notice how it shows this fared out, so I guess that's what they were thinking. Maybe they just didn't have good materials. There's not a lot available on this aircraft, so that may have just been an assumption. So anyhow, we're going to go right into, let's see, let's just extend this into the fuselage. There you go. Now what we need to do is shrink these down using the non-uniform scale and move these down to agree with the wing height at these various junctures. So nothing fancy here, you just ignore back facing this off. So actually we can, yeah, let's just do one at a time. So it's just, you have to eyeball it here. Okay, we've got kind of we're equidistance bigger on both sides, so we'll just bring that down so it looks like we're bringing the shape in correctly, kind of matching up with what we've got up here. This one's a little high, and we'll fix that there in a minute. So, and then we'll bring this one down. We're going to have to move it down now so we can see where we are with stuff. Actually, this one can go up a smidgen. Alright, and this can go back up a bit in height. We can just move it up. Boom, there we go. And this bad boy, well, there's a lot of vertices in there, but that's what you got to do sometimes. So just make sure we got them all here. I'll pull this down. Okay. Make it a little bit smaller, and that's good because then you can actually see what you're working with here. See the lines. Alright, now all we have to do is push these up to where they belong. The wing, and once we get them positioned, we'll taper them down again. Alright. Taper them down just the way we did the other way, so. How's that look to you, boys and girls? Bring this down a little bit. There we go. So that's looking pretty sweet, actually. And we need to adjust the way we're going to do this actually is rotate these. That's going to expand it a little bit. So we're going to have to come back to join the fuselage, and you can't hardly tell from this view. But if you go to the side, wrap around here. Well, I don't have a fuselage here. Okay, never mind. We'll tweak that here in a bit. The way this, I'll just have to do it by eye. Well, that's not exactly right. I'll have to grab this one and this one. These are kind of and we need to go up now a little bit. This is kind of the way that area is shaped, and this comes out a bit. Something similar to that anyhow. Probably a little more, up a little. That's the way that area is done. Something like that. Tweak it later as necessary. Okay, so we have ourselves a dadgum wing. Let's see what it looks like after we do some smoothing here. Poly mode, select all, and come down here to smoothing groups, clear all the smoothing, do an auto smooth. Okay, let's take off the see-through, deselect, Senor, that's pretty sweet actually. It's a good looking mesh. So that's a good start. We are on it. You can see the shading I was telling you about when you let these polys get too long. Now, that's in harsh light situations in the sim. You've got a little bit here and a little bit here. But usually, depending on how it's textured, you'll never see that, except in the brightest, like harsh sun situations. So actually, that's a dadgum good looking wing there. So guys, I hope you're proud of yourself, what you just built. So it looks like we'll have to tweak up this end here just a little bit. Assuming that is correct. I think we did it to the side instead of to the, no, maybe not. So we're going to have to stretch it a little like this so we can get the front and the back. There we go. Now we need a little bit of Y action here. There we go. And there is a little flare back here in the back where it, or fillet, where it tapers off to meet the fuselage. And we'll do that. We'll do that for sure. Alright, let's change this color to something a little more pleasant. It looks like metal, anyhow. And alright, so step one, we used the standard primitive cylinder to shape the vertices around the wing root. Then we went to top view and we kind of pulled that out and started shaping it as we went, and then extended the tip root mesh to give us a nice rounded corner. We went to the front and adjusted its verticalness, if you will, at the various stations, and that kind of wraps it up for starting the basic wing. So we'll come back in the next video and cut in these surfaces here, these control surfaces, ailerons, flaps, and the split flap underneath. Fill them in where we cut them out, recess into the wing, etc., etc. And we'll have us a pretty darn good looking wing there. So thanks for hanging in. I hope this was instructional and went the right speed for you. We covered a lot of ground, obviously, and built a nice piece of mesh. So I think it's one we can be proud of. So if you have any comments or suggestions, put them down below, and you guys have a good day, and I'll check back with you on the next video. Thanks a bunch.